Welcome back, everybody. This is Seven and Bennett, and we're here today with our guest, Bernie from CocoChic.com. Bernie, are you there?
Good morning. We're looking for Bernie.
Okay, I guess we have a little technical difficulty.
Is Bernie on the line?
I'm on the line. Good morning.
Wonderful.
Okay, good morning. Okay, y'all about to get it in there.
Welcome, Bernie.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted.
Oh, it's so good to be talking to you again today. And again, we're discussing the topic, the business of beauty. So I know you have a lot to give us, a lot of information for our listeners.
Good morning.
Yes, I do.
And good morning, my beautiful Bernie. This is C. Allen. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you.
Very good. Now, you know, Bernie, now you remember a couple of years ago, you were a part of the Celebrity Makeup Symposium at the Bennett Career Institute. You remember, Bernie?
Of course I do. I was just re-looking at the pictures this weekend. And thanks for letting me dance on stage.
That's right. I remember. Well, everyone, we have Bernie here, Bernie, who is the cosmetic executive, and today we're talking about the business of beauty. Now, Bernie, I'm excited to have you here because I do seminars and I have CDs and DVDs in reference to the business series, and I even have a free seminar coming up on January 29th. So, talk to me about. What do you normally see let's go with what goes wrong. What do you normally see that goes wrong with people who want to enter into the beauty industry and they want to start a beauty business?
The number one thing that I see is a lack of preparedness in terms of either not having researched and being prepared with information. And technology is out there. The internet is accessible to everyone, even via your cell phone. So when someone doesn't know just certain key facts about the company or the products that are readily available online, that's not a very good thing, especially in a competitive job market. I'd say the other thing that's also a challenge is presentation. How people choose to dress for interviews. Because what typically happens is, because beauty is very related to fashion, and everyone knows in beauty you're allowed to be more expressive, is that people kind of overdo how fashion they look. And the reality is this is the business of beauty. It may not be as formal as working for a law firm or working for an investment bank, but it's still the business of beauty. So you still have to pull it together. So I typically like to say that you need to dress for function over fashion.
Right.
That's very good, Bernie. Now, I definitely think, tell us a little bit about what you do as a cosmetic executive, and then talk to us about Coco Chic.
Yes. So working in cosmetics marketing for me is amazing because it entails all my fundamental passions. So there's, the obvious beauty aspect of it. Anytime you work in brand management on a particular brand, typically the offices are beautiful. There's makeup all around you. It's just very inspiring. There's a lot of great creative energy, but what I love about it is balancing the art with the science as well. And what I mean by the science is that there's a lot of really deep thinking going on. I love the fact that I get to coordinate very complex plans. In terms of when we're getting to launch a product, that may involve me interacting with product development on what ingredients are going into a particular skincare formula or makeup item, what's the texture of it, coming up with the profile, looking into the packaging and actually voting, do I want this cream in a jar or would I prefer it to be in a pump? There's just so much variety. And then there's also engaging different types of people. So before we launch a collection, I get to interact with all of my retail buyers. Then there's interacting with the field sales and, the makeup artists who have to go forward, who are your front line, and they're the ones selling the products with you. And then there are times such as this, in doing public speaking, I get to touch people and influence people and hopefully be an evangelist for them to come into the business side of beauty.
Okay, that sounds very good. Now, your website, Coco Chic, the beauty boutique. Talk to us about that.
Yes, so I launched Coco Chic quite a number of years ago because I thought that there needed to be a place for ethnic women of color beauty content, not only from a consumer perspective, those of us who are cosmetics enthusiasts like myself, or people who are, this is the first time where do I go and get tips? But I also think that there needed to be a place that businesses and brands could go to access and understand the woman of color and her beauty and style sensibilities. So Coco Chic has always been not only for the consumer but also for brands as well.
Okay, very good. We're going to go to the phone lines. We have a couple of callers holding. We'll start with
Kathy.
Okay, not a problem. We'll start with Ms. Hawkins. Ms. Hawkins, good morning. Welcome to the Sea Island Morning Show.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Bennett.
Okay, good morning. Now, we have Bernie we have T. Bernie here, who is the cosmetic executive. You have a question in reference to the business of beauty?
Yes, I recently opened a salon August 8th, and I have a problem finding good girls, like girls that's very enthusiastic about, the business. Girls or guys, cosmetologists, period. I'm running into finding some who, they come and go and not really interested. I don't think they love the business at first on the interview. And here at Salon Attitude, we're uniform people. Like she said, appearance is, a number, it's kind of like a good thing when you come in, it's in the course, and we have a uniform policy. And we have, different rules that are implemented. But it's just hard to find good girls who want to stay and want to really, really love the business.
All right, Bernie.
Oh, I completely hear you, Ms. Hawkins. I had that challenge in the beginning too. However, I can tell you that this year, what I've done that's made it different, where I've had more consistent volunteers and interns, is that I actually said, you know what? Instead of me putting something out generically on the internet, via Craigslist, etc., why don't I go and find people who have a passion for this business and understand the business as well? So I actually partnered with the student chapter of BRAG, which is the Black Retail Action Group, their FIT chapter. I went to the Fashion Institute of Technology. That's where I earned my master's degree. They also have an undergraduate program. So with the BRAG chapter at FIT, I tapped into them. And, this is very interesting. When you are looking for interns and young people to work for you, the first thing to understand is that their mentality and their perspective is very different than when we were coming up. Typically, I say to students that I mentor and that I speak to, that you need to give something before you get something. Well, the same thing actually works for us, in the decision-making hiring capacity. So what I do is, I'll typically give some sort of workshop first, and then I offer my student interns, if you prove to me over time how consistent you are, then I will give you access to my Rolodex, and I will help you wherever it is that you are trying to go. And if you think about finding the ones in your life, there are always going to be people that fall off, but finding the ones that you really bond with, finding the ones that really do have a passion for this, and trying to get them to stay on the straight and narrow. So, in summary, what I would say is, again, I don't know how you are marketing and trying to recruit these to different people to work for you, but maybe tech school or somewhere there where there's students that already have this interest, are looking for this type of experience, focusing in on that group of people.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Ms. Hawkins. Now, I definitely agree, Bernie, with that. I would tell Ms. Hawkins that what should happen is she should, of course, come to the Bennett Career Institute. She should go to some salons, some schools that is close to her place of business, things of that nature. Savvy, you had a question for Bernie?
Yeah, I have a question, Bernie. One of the people this morning asked me, they said, now if I want to launch a product line for people of color, is there something special or different that I need to do to break into kind of that niche market? And, that's the question they had for you.
I think the number one key thing is to have financing in place.
Yes.
Having done this myself, and then because I have worked, I've worked for one of the largest, consumer products cosmetics companies in the world, the very prestigious Estée Lauder companies, and then also having launched Coco Chic. But then since I left Estée Lauder, I actually exclusively only worked in an entrepreneurial capacity on startup brands. And I'll tell you, the number one thing that you really need to have is financing in place. You would be amazed at how much it costs to launch a brand in economic climate today. The market isn't what it was 5 years ago.
Okay.
Certainly not what it was 10
Okay,
years ago.
T. Bernie, we have to go to commercial breaks, but you hold that because that's something that we really want to stay with for a second. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the business of beauty here, 1450 AM WOL, Beauty Talk Radio. We'll be right back after these messages. It's the C. Allen Morning Show.